And another guy who's a big deal in Scarborough country, in fact, he's a guy that runs Scarborough country when I'm away, is Michael Smerconish. He asked the question, are the PC police ruining America and leaving us open to more terror attacks? Our guest says yes. He's written a new book called Muzzled, From T-Ball to Terrorism, True Stories That Should Be Fiction. In it he says, quote, "We become a country of kibitzers and apologists. We're literally scared to death to offend. All of this limp-wristed worrying over hurt feelings is compromising our ability to defeat radical Islam and might just get us killed." With us now to talk about it, the soft-spoken Michael Smerconish. Michael, let's launch right into it. The New York Daily News apologizing for putting mugshots of criminals on the cover of their newspaper. What's it about?
You can't talk about race, Joe. There are a number of things, and it's a growing list that you just can't talk about. This is one of them. Look at that cover that's being shown right now. All of those individuals were wanted for murder at the time, and yet the newspaper felt compelled within days to apologize after publishing the mugshots. Why? Because all of the individuals who were then wanted for murder were people of color. So it was an accurate story, but the fact that there were no Caucasians caused the newspaper to say, maybe we should have rethunk the idea of running that cover. In similar fashion, down in Delaware a month ago, I saw a headline. It said, "Bearded man wanted for rape." I'm thinking, bearded man, what a strange headline. I read the story. They tell you he's got a blue car, that it's four-door, that it's a Chevy, and that he has a beard, but nowhere will they tell you if he's black, white, or an Indian chief. I mean, it's gotten crazy in this country.
And you talk about race, but also, more importantly, as far as national security goes, also talk about the racial profiling or lack thereof when it comes to Arabs or Arab Americans. Talk about the most bizarre profiling that you've heard of when it comes to airport security and pulling over a passenger.
Well, and the argument that I try to make in the book is that this limp-wristedness at home, it has spilled over into the war on terror. It's like a cancer that has metastasized into the war on terror. And I think border control and airport security is a great example. Let me just tell you about the case of Claire and Frank Yoakum. They are in Phoenix, where they have just had quadruplets. The quadruplets are all of 2 months old. There's a photograph of Claire with the 4 babies. She's now flying out of Phoenix. I'm telling you, it makes you laugh and then it makes you cry. The kids, because their newborns are wrapped in gauze, and at the Phoenix airport, they get selected for secondary screening. The kids have to be unwrapped, the tubes removed. That's what we're wasting our time on, Joe.
And I've told you my story before, where my 6-month-old baby girl, when she was 6 months then, yanked out of her mother's hands and then frisked, along with my 15-year-old son and my 12-year-old son at the time, and my wife, and then me. And then at the end of that, what do they say? Hey, we're big fans of the show.
Right, love Scarborough country.
And I'm like, okay, well, so why are you frisking me? I mean, I'm not asking for special treatment. I'm just asking that you profile the people that are most likely to blow up planes.
And listen, you and I ought to have some level of screening, but when it comes to secondary screening with those critically few resources, don't waste them on us. Don't waste them until guys like Scarborough and Smerconish are out there flying airplanes into the Twin Towers, which isn't going to happen.
Speaking of the Twin Towers and the financial district in New York City, talk about this Wall Street whiz kid that got fired for a joke.
Andrew Susser, his name, Vassar graduate, then goes to the University of Pennsylvania, gets a JD MBA, the Wharton School and the Penn Law School.
As good as it gets.
As good as it gets. He goes to Bank of America, setting the world on fire. He's like that character in Bonfire of the Vanities that Tom Wolfe wrote about. He's making a reported $4 million a year, and he's an analyst of the gaming and hospitality industry, and he's got a sense of humor. And at the end of the year, Joe, he turns out a circular, a publication for his clients where he talks about trends in the hospitality and the casino industry, and in a sort of a National Lampoonish fashion, there it is, he has his face superimposed on the fully clothed body of a woman. No profanity, no nudity. And for that picture, he got fired. Because even Wall Street has become an intolerant place. Joe Scarborough, you have to get all the emails that I get via, the jokes and so forth. If you scroll to the bottom of your jokes, don't they always seem to come from brokerage houses? I mean, these guys on Wall Street are the funniest guys around, but even they have become intolerant. That's the point.
It's very frightening. Michael Smerconish, thanks so much. I appreciate you. you being here. I
you.
hope you're going to tell more. So there are a lot more stories I want to cover, like the San Francisco 49ers story. When you come back and you're the mayor of Scarborough Country next week.
The mayor. I love it.
Yeah, you like that? I hope you'll talk more about Muzzled.
Thank you.
All right. Always great to have you here. And always